Would you believe me if I told you China is a food lover's paradise? Everywhere you look, tasty street food and amazing restaurant dishes are waiting to be savored.
We'll come back. We'll come back.
The variety and flavors of Chinese cuisine tantalize the taste buds like no other. Seeing food everywhere in China, the only question that comes to my mind is, why does China have so much hot and healthy freshly made food available for a fraction of the price? I mean, food is available everywhere. It's not uncommon for food to be provided free of charge when you book hotels or on high-speed trains as part of packages when you book a tour. China has made significant steps in agricultural development. Through innovative practices and advancements in agri-tech, China has not only transformed its own agricultural landscape, but also shared its knowledge and technology with countries in the global south looking for growth and food security. The end of European colonization of Africa should have brought economic prosperity to the continent. However, new European imperial agreements have been signed, perpetuating agricultural systems in sub-Saharan African countries that were geared towards producing cash crops for export to the colonial metropoles. Basically, cash crops are agricultural crops that are grown primarily for sale and profit rather than for personal consumption. Throughout the 2010s, China expanded its agricultural assistance efforts in Africa, with a particular emphasis on capacity building, technology transfer, and infrastructure development in the agricultural sector. In 2013, China launched the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, to connect Asia with Africa and Europe via land and maritime networks to improve regional integration, increase trade, and stimulate economic growth. This has facilitated increased agricultural cooperation between China and African countries, with investments in agricultural infrastructure projects and initiatives aimed at promoting agricultural development along the BRI routes. China provided agricultural expertise, training, and technology transfer to improve farming practices primarily in 10 African countries: Ethiopia, Kenya, Nigeria, Tanzania, Zambia, Uganda, Sudan, Ghana, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe. The Chinese government, unlike colonial powers, did not feel it necessary to publicize its assistance in a way that might shame Africans for accepting help to achieve food security. China's agricultural technology transfer in Africa is more than just a pursuit of profit. It embodies a spirit of goodwill rooted in the nation's own historical experiences, particularly during the Great Chinese Famine. It represents a sincere effort to share knowledge and expertise to support African nations in achieving food security and sustainable development.
So this is very famous food street.
Food street.
Yeah, food street.
Yeah.
So
I can try this one.
You tried before?
No, I want to try this one.
I want to try this. Okay.
红柳招牌大串啊！但是不要放美露，不要浅一点味儿就行，小孩儿吃。就是放点摘子啊，辣椒不要生。对对对。
要辣椒 ，spicy。
Food has not always been abundant in China. There was once a famine so severe that, according to the South China Normal University, an estimated 30 million people died of starvation. In 1949, Mao Zedong announced that the new government of China was the People's Republic of China. When Mao came to power, China was in a dire economic position. The people hailed him as a hero of the workers and the underclass. Mao tried to create a society of the common man, where everyone spoke with one voice and thought with one mind. He eliminated those he considered wealthy capitalists because he viewed them as enemies and a threat to his vision of an ideal socialist society. In 1958, he launched the program called the Great Leap Forward, which aimed to transform China from an agrarian economy to a communist country. Everything was nationalized. The idea was to produce a large amount of food while decreasing the human labor necessary to produce it. Harvests were sent to the government for equal distribution among the people. However, farmers could not meet their quotas due to the lack of mechanization on large farms, and food distribution was unsuccessful. By 1962, it was obvious that the Great Leap Forward was a failure. The Communist Party of China, CPC, in 1981, stated that the famine resulted from the mistakes made in the Great Leap Forward and the Sino-Soviet split. In simple words, the Sino-Soviet split was a rupture in relations between China and the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Disagreements over ideology and leadership led to hostility. China accused the Soviet Union of betraying true communism. This split reshaped global politics and influenced the trajectory of communism worldwide. The Four Pests program, initiated by Mao to control pests, also contributed to the failure of the Great Leap Forward. The program aimed to eliminate rats, flies, mosquitoes, and sparrows. Sparrows were targeted due to their perceived harm to grain crops. However, their eradication led to an ecological disaster, resulting in a locust invasion of farms. The campaign expanded to include other pests, causing unintended consequences such as crop damage due to insect overpopulation. The decline in food production can also be attributed to the increased industrialization of the country. As the Chinese focus on the iron and steel production, they allocated millions of peasants working in farms to factory to increase industrial yields. When international figures showed that grain yield was declining, the Chinese refused to believe it. The CPC believed it could solve its internal issues without international aid. The government's unrealistic production targets and exaggerated reporting exacerbated the crisis. Local officials, fearing repercussions for reporting negative outcomes, often inflated grain production figures, leading to widespread misinformation about the actual state of food reserves. As a result, the central government continued to requisition grain for urban areas and export, despite acute shortages in rural regions. These disasters, combined with the man-made factors of the Great Leap Forward, created a perfect storm of food shortages and starvation.
Alright, so my friends, first try the steamed dumpling. We have the procedure. Very
When it comes to food in China, it's recommended to try everything. You'll likely leave China with a list of more than 10 favorite foods.
Yeah. Thank you. What are these things?
This one is pork, stir fry with tea. So I don't think this is the spicy one. No. I don't think this is the spicy one.
Looks good though.
It looks fine, right? Looks fine. And these are soup, porridge, rice. We want the rice, right?
Yeah.
1 or 2, okay? Do you mind? Thank you. And we have nice noodles. Have you tried noodles so far? Rice
like
noodles.
noodles.
I
You
like
want to
noodles.
try?
Yeah.
Let's have a try.
Yeah.
And I recommend. Let me see. Let me see. 让我看看啊，这个是 that's the sauce on top.
Okay.
And it's 油泼. How do you tomato sauce, tomato and egg sauce with also chili powder on top, go with hot oil. That's a very local way.
Food in China is so cheap that you might end up with a lot on the table. It might be a good idea to ask for assistance if you are uncertain about what you are ordering.
Nice, huh? Oh, that's TV shooter. Yeah.
Food changes with the seasons, so there's no need to worry about your diet. Vegan and vegetarian options are also available, and tourists can enjoy familiar Western dishes.